Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the town council meeting. I'll take roll call. Mr. Grant? Gotcha.
Here.
Mr. Hawkins? Ms. Ames is not here. Ms. Beckett not here. Mr. Lennox? There. And Mr. Stanford is here. Myself is here.
Here, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Riley, are we in compliance with the Freedom of Information Act?
Yes, sir, we are.
We need a motion to approve the agenda. Mr. Hawkins approves it. Mr. Stanford seconds it. Okay, let's go right on to unfinished business. Consideration of an emergency ordinance 20-20-15. Mr. Riley, could you speak to this a second?
Certainly. Our emergency ordinances last for 60 days. That's maximum under town code. Our current ordinance allowing for emergency meetings and these electronic meetings is set to expire before our next council meeting. We want to get it dealt with here to extend for another 60 days or until rescinded if it's earlier.
Have a motion to put it on the table?
We already, don't you already have that?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Stanford. Okay, discussion on this by anybody? Anybody have any questions on this? Okay, being there is no questions, no discussions, I'll call the vote. Mr. Grant? Okay, Mr.
Yep.
Hawkins? Mr. Lennox? Mr. Stanford?
Yes,
And myself is 5-0, Mr. Riley, okay?
All right.
Okay, before we go to executive session, Mr. Stanford would like to make a proposal, a discussion on something, and I'll let him carry on. Mr. Stanford?
yes. I am very concerned, as I know all of us are, about the rising number of cases that we're facing in the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. McCann and I met yesterday with a local physician who is an epidemiologist, and he has raised the level of concern even higher for those of us who have heard him. This is a very, very serious problem. We know that without some sort of action, there is potential legal challenge to our adopting a mandatory ordinance. And even if we did adopt a mandatory ordinance, we would be faced with a problem of how in the world to enforce it. So it seems to me that we need to see if we can come up with a way for some sort of self-enforcement. The idea that I have is that we create a list which will be maintained on the town website and available for public viewing of the businesses that are acting in compliance with the appropriate rules and regulations in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, meaning wearing masks in public places, social distancing, and the like. And then the idea would be that we would empower our citizens to actually be the eyes of enforcement, so that if a citizen appears in a particular business location and there is no masking and there is no social distancing, that citizen would be free to go to the town's website, fill out a form saying XYZ business is not complying, or more importantly, and probably much better, if a citizen goes into a business, ABC, and finds that all of the employees are masked, where necessary, where they are gloved, and where all customers are being urged to wear masks, and masks are being provided to those that don't have them, someone would be able to call in or contact the website and put that company, ABC, on the good list. I have worked on drafting some language about that. I would like to have the opportunity to work some with the town's IT department to see if, in fact, we can set up something that would be kind of self-executing. So my plan is to have something like that available for the next council meeting that we have in July. Thank you.
Just for a moment here. The chamber will start this Saturday distributing masks in front of the major supermarkets. The governor is supposed to make some kind of an announcement on Friday and I'm sure he's going to cover part of this along the way. What's everybody's feeling about Glenn's suggestion? We'll start with Mr. Lennox.
Glenn, I share the concern. I think we had a wonderful, wonderful weekend event with the Heritage Classic. And I think Justin Thomas did us a favor by making comments like that. I think he got a lot of people's attention locally, regionally, and perhaps nationally. But I think the idea is a good one. The implementation, I think, would work. And I like the idea of opening up a portal to the town website to allow the community to report compliance and report those businesses where there really is no compliance as it pertains to personal safety and self-protection.
Mr. Grant?
Yes, Glenn, I like your idea also. However, technically, this is supposed to be a public safety committee issue, but since we haven't had any due to the emergency, we really haven't had a good conversation. My concern is, is Greenville, our constituents in Greenville,
Mark, could I ask you to have a public safety meeting before our next council meeting? Mark, can you hear me?
I said I don't have a problem doing one, but I think this is something where we need to have maybe we can talk about all the solutions what the town can do.
Yeah.
And then educate. Yeah.
Could you start with the public safety committee on this before the next council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can.
Good. Is that okay with you, Glenn?
Yes, absolutely. I would look forward to that.
Good. What do you think, Mr. Hawkins? Bill, your speaker.
Still not. Bill, you're still muted. Still muted.
Bill. Okay, we'll do that, Mark. We'll send it to your committee, and you can set up a meeting, all right?
I need to get Bill on something.
Okay, all right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
What do you think, Bill?
All right. Well, I wish more people would wear a mask, and I support what the goal I think Glenn's trying to achieve. I would prefer to lead with a different tact. I'd prefer the town on our own nickel to create signs where that would say something to the effect that would be posted on the front door of these establishments, which would say, we choose to wear a mask here. We hope you do the same. Something like that. And I'm a little concerned about turning in, if you will, having citizens turn in the names of establishments that choose not to do that. I think it's going to create unnecessary strife. I'd rather be more positive and, again, in a very declaratory way, say we wear a mask here, we hope you do the same. And then conspicuous by its absence, another establishment could choose not to. And, you know, that would be their call and possibly their price to pay.
Bill, I think you make some good points there. I mentioned a good list as well as a bad list, mostly to promote some discussion about what seems better. I certainly agree that it'd be better to show the good actors on the website. I do think that a website would be appropriate as broader publicity. I agree with the notion of signs. However, I think we have the normal enforcement problem with the signage. We have limited staff resources, and I don't know if it's practical for the town to have however many people go to various businesses to see if in fact they are wearing masks and then give them a sign. I think we should explore this and determine its feasibility, but the idea is that we will have a list, let's say it is a good list, and citizens can be our enforcement arm, is the idea. Thank you.
Okay, we'll push the Marks Committee and we'll start there. Okay, Mark? Okay, Mark? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. David will be joining us in a minute. I need a motion to go into executive session for employment matters.
Move to go into executive session for employment matters as stated by the mayor.
Second.
Mr. Stanford, second. We need to go off.
Need all in favor?
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Go.
Okay, we're back from executive session. We have one item to report. We have selected the top 4 executive search firms. We will make that information available on Friday when we meet with those search firms. The council will be represented by Mr. Ames, Mr. Hawkins, and Mr. Lennox, and myself. Do a verbal interview with these firms. We will then come back with a recommendation to council, who will make the final decision on which firm we select. We also agreed that after Friday's date, we will give Mr. Grand all 4 of the firms so he can review them with some people he needs to talk to. And with that, I need a motion to accept my recommendation.
I move to accept the recommendation.
Mr. Stanford is seconding it. Any questions by members of the group? All in favor, please raise their right hand. And now I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.